Hi, so in this video we'll be seeing about what is I485, that is the adjustment of status. This is a continuation video of the S386 possible deal between Durbin and Lee video. So we were discussing many things in the video about the I485. So in case if you have missed the video, please check the description link for the previous video. So in this slide, we are going to be answering few basic questions about I485, like what is it and who and when can apply for it. So it's basically called an adjustment of status. So it means a person can adjust his status from a non-immigrant alien to an immigrant person. So this is the first step for applying permanent residence or the green card. If a person has an approved I-140, AOS can be applied. But there is a clause like the priority date has to be current. That's the current rule. But this is subject to change once the S386 bill gets passed in the Senate and becomes an act. So if the person has an approved I-140, he or she can immediately start applying for I-485. That is the adjustment of state. So now let's see the difference between I-140, AOS, consular processing and PR. I-140 is the immigrant petition for alien worker. So this is the first step that an employer should take for making the employees permanently working in the US. So I-140 is submitted by an employer to request for an employee with specialty occupation to work in US on a permanent basis. I think most of us are pretty clear about what I-140 is. So next regarding I-485, that's the next step. So I think a little bit of it is already covered. I'll be covering more of it in the upcoming slides. So keep watching. And the next is the consular processing. It's for applying PR via family-based immigration. It's like an US citizen can sponsor for the children's spouses, parents, immediate relatives, blood relations to attain an immigrant status and to enter the US. So that is for this consular processing. And next is the green card. So that's the ultimate goal here. So the permanent residence is acceptance of I-485 and the beneficiary will have the right to stay work in the US. Also the person can travel in and out of the US without a visa. Now let's see the advantages and outcomes of the adjustment of status. So once you start applying for I-485, what can be the possible advantages and outcomes coming out of it? So that's the thing we are going to cover here. So first thing is that you'll be issued with an employment authorization document. So this is the key here. With this, you need not keep your non-immigrant status. You can start working with any of the employers in any location with this particular EAD card. So this is stamped for initially for 3 years, and this is going to sustain you in the US while the I-485 form is getting processed. So the next thing is the travel document. So that's the second advantage here, which can be issued to a person who has applied for I-485, and this can be used to travel in and out of the US without the need of a visa. So this is the next biggest advantage. So the next one is the portability. So a person who has applied for the adjustment of status and the case or the application is still pending more than 180 days, then the employee is free to switch employers, go to any different location and work without need to do an amendment, switch employers without an H1 transfer, but the person has to be with the same or a similar position or occupation with which the I-140 is approved. That is the basic thing here. You can switch employers, go to different locations, no need of transfers, no need of amendments. So you just need to be on the same position or the occupation. So that's the clause here. So now let's see what's the basic difference between a H4 EAD and I485 EAD. So the H4 EAD is the first that is displayed in the slide, and the next is the I485 EAD. So the H4 EAD will be valid only until the I797 document end date. So even if it is 6 months or 3 months or 2 months, whatever is mentioned in the I797 document, that will be the end date on the H4 EAD. And the H4 EAD cannot be used as an entry or exit at the US. So it will not be accepted as a travel document. But on contradictory, the I485 EAD will be stamped for or valid for 3 years, and after which this can be extended with AOS extension. And this can be used as a travel document to enter and exit the US. So the key difference is the red highlighted thing at the bottom of both the EADs. So when you see the first EAD, the H4 EAD, it is clearly written not valid for re-entry to the US. But for the second EAD, it serves, in the bottom it's already also written as serves as I485 advance parole. So advance parole is as part of the EAD once you apply both EAD and advance parole together as part of the I485 document. So now let's cover few of the frequently asked questions about the I485. So these are few of the questions which arised in my mind after hearing about I485. Also, I got few questions from some of my friends. So I'm trying to cover a few of the questions here so that it will be useful for you. So the first question is, should I be in specialty occupation for applying I485? Technically, yes. So according to the AC21, which applies when your I485 application is still pending with USICS for more than 180 days, says that you can switch employers, you can go to different locations for work, but you have to be in the same or similar occupation or position for the I485 to be approved. If this is not met, there are chances that I485 may be denied. So the next question is, for applying I485 or AOS, should the I140 be from the same employer? See, the entire thing, like for I140 and I485, both the things are for a future employee. So the employer is saying that I need this person with this particular specialty occupation for a future job or a future occupation, for which he's applying for the I140. So at current standpoint, no, I don't think so. This I140 and I485, you need to be with the same employer. So but once you apply for I485 and once you get the green card, you have to start working with that employer who has filed your I140 for a considerable amount of time. So that's the primary requirement. So whoever is filed your I-140, with them you need to work for particular substantial time. There is no time limit, but you need to work with them for some amount of time, so that while going for US citizenship, it will be denied if you have not met this criteria. So the next question is, should I stick to H1B after I485 application? So yes, it's always better to maintain the H1B status until you receive the green card. So so in case if after 3 years, if the 485 extension approval is denied, then it's better to have the H1B status so that your stay in the US will not be questioned. You can still work with H1B visa in a non-immigrant status. So for that purpose, it's always better to maintain the H1B. So the next question is, what will happen after 3 years of I485 EAD expiry? So before 6 months of the EAD expiry, the form I765 can be submitted for EAD extension. So in case if the EAD expires while after filing the I765, the I765 receipt can be used as a proof of work authorization. So these are pretty much most of the questions which arised, and I think I've covered them pretty pretty well. So in case if you like this video, please do subscribe and keep following for further updates and more videos. Thank you. Thanks for watching.